Once is never enough for Hollywood. The siren call of the movie franchise leads otherwise sensible filmmakers to churn out recycled ideas as long as, or sometimes longer than, the public will tolerate them. I have to admit, one of my favorite sequel sequences is the Mummy movies from Universal, starting with Boris Karloff in 1932. You remember this one. Archaeologists unearth strange mummy with convenient scroll for bringing said mummy back to life, handily protected with a terrible curse.
What a terrible curse!
Of course, the dumb intern reads the scroll and brings the mummy back to life. Mummy then tries to do the same for his long-lost love, now reincarnated as the pencil-thin Ziti Johann. Along the way, Karloff gets to do his Darth Vader impression. Once love interest finds out that the road to eternal bliss means she has to die again, she has second thoughts and invokes the ancient Egyptian gods, who zap the mummy and the scroll. So with Karloff now just a pile of bones, how do you continue the franchise? Well, you retool slightly. The Mummy's Hand from 1940 starts by introducing a secret brotherhood with nefarious intentions.
But first, I must hand over to you the secret guarded by the high priests of Karnak.
Karnak will give that a shot.
We're then treated to a 3-minute recap of movie number 1, deleting Boris Karloff and substituting a new actor in all the close-ups. There's also a new gimmick. Instead of a scroll, we now have Tana leaves to control the mummy. But notice the scroll left over from movie number 1. In this film, we have brash American archaeologists pitted against the priests of Karnak for the mummy of the Princess Ananka, which, by the way, we only see once in passing. What they find instead is Karis, the undead mummy, waiting for the Karnakian command to kill and pillage.
You would become an uncontrollable monster, a soulless demon with a desire to kill.
This movie is dripping with exotic backlot ambiance, and the minions of Karnak are everywhere.
Professor Andrew.
Oh, come in, gentlemen.
But our heroes forge ahead, bringing with them perhaps the stupidest Egyptologist on record.
You mean we never should have come into this cave?
But stupid Egyptologists don't last long out in the desert.
Let me go!
And now our heroes face a very slow mummy onslaught as Karis plays fetch with the vials of Tana fluid. We also have the start of a recurring theme. The white satin expedition nightgown, when you want the best for those midnight abductions. And we also learn about Tana fluid as a dating tool.
You're very beautiful. So beautiful, I'm going to make you immortal. I'm going to prepare enough fluid from these Tana leaves to make us both immortal.
But red-blooded American archaeologists don't stand for this sort of thing.
See here, you Egyptian Mickey Finn, I'll give you 3 to tell me where she is. I'm not kidding.
We've got to get you out of here in a hurry.
He's after Tana fluid. Then the urge, Steve. You mustn't let him get it. Ah, stop him!
So once our heroes have dispatched everybody worth dispatching, we are left with a beautiful template for turning out more movies.
Oh, it's just like a woman when the shooting's all over and everything's take, they pass out. Marty. Marty.
The Mummy's Tomb from 1942 follows the pattern pretty closely. The flashback this time is 9 minutes long. Less to write and more work for the editor. Karis is back, looking remarkably unsinged after his fiery demise in the last film. And there's also a guest shot by Professor Andrew, who apparently survived his great death scene in movie number 2.
The bullet he fired into me
only crushed my arm.
Mighty Isis, forgive me.
However, the intervening years have not been kind to archaeologist Steve Banning, but that doesn't matter because Karras is out to get the entire Banning family, this time under the direction of exotic Universal contract player Turhan Bey.
I shall never forsake my trust.
Also with this installment comes a change of venue. Leaving Egypt, we're transported to the exotic wilds of New England. Arriving at the town of Mapleton with a small suitcase and a large sarcophagus, Turhan wastes no time putting Karras to work.
Your work begins.
Apparently he's also brought along wolves to lend the proper ambiance. Karras Unleashed now casts a shadow of doom on this sleepy hamlet. But the sheriff isn't buying it.
A shadow? You wake me up for that?
The animals know what's going on. But the humans continue blissfully unaware of any danger until it's too late. With the Bannings and their friends dropping like flies, the press descends on Mapleton, searching in vain for the perpetrator. Who could it be? So, having run out of victims, Turhan's mind now turns to thoughts of love.
I am going to take on to myself a wife, Caris.
And the movie template kicks in big time.
Who knows? Maybe someday I may be making this dress over for another young bride.
After I have given you the Tana fluid, you will be immortal, even as Caris is immortal. You will bear me a son, and he will be brought up in the confines of the tombs of Egypt.
This may be why the priests of Karnak have such terrible social skills. But finally the citizens rise up to take action, and this 1942 crowd take their torches to look for Karras. Why torches, you ask? Well, it's more than just wartime shortages. This way we can reuse mob footage from the original Frankenstein. Doesn't Universal ever throw anything away? But the torches come in handy when, for reasons best known to himself, Karras returns with the babe to the Banning house and is once again consumed by fire. I wonder if he'll be back. In this fourth installment, the unstoppable Professor Andreheb is still with us. Is he sneaking Tana fluid on the side? But the usual flashback...
30 years ago, an expedition located and entered the tomb of Ananka.
Takes us instead to a college classroom circa 1943, where we learn all we need to know without reusing any footage.
Wasn't he kept alive by the fluid from some sort of leaves?
He was. Tana leaves. They grew from a low bush.
And for no apparent reason, in this movie, the priesthood of Karnak is now Arkham. But the oath is still the same.
I swear by the mighty power of Amun-Ra, whose anger can shatter the world, and by the dread power of Set, that I shall never forsake my trust as a high priest of Karnak.
And we're still serving all your mummy maintenance needs.
3 of the leaves will make enough fluid to keep Caris' heart beating.
You will do exactly as I say, Caris. Go while the moon is yet high in the heavens.
Now go.
Go.
Ask about our Princess Protection Program.
Lives to guard Ananka's tomb until the end of time.
And with your paid subscription, you'll receive this free gift. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Walk like an Egyptian.
This movie shows how screenwriters cope with all the loose ends necessary to continue a franchise. In the last film, the priest got shot, and Karis got fried. Again. So how did the guys in Egypt find out what's going on?
Through the sacred message brought to us by the most holy spirit of Amun-Ra, we know that he still lives.
Karis still lives?
And however will they find him?
He will brew 9 tana leaves. Karis will know and come for the fluid which preserves him. He will find it wherever it is.
Very neat. So, back in America, when the professor cracks the code...
I have it. I have it.
And naively brews up a batch of Tana fluid, Karis just appears, walking up from the back of the set near the cyclorama, burned but unbowed, and up to all his old tricks. This time his shadow casting affects Amina, a susceptible babe of Egyptian descent. Having killed off all the infidels who defiled the princess's tomb in the last movie, the Arkhamites now have a new goal.
Your mission is to bring him back to Egypt, and with him Ananka, his beloved princess.
But complications arise.
The tombs of Arkham are waiting to claim their own. Amun-Ra, Almighty God, thy wrath is far-reaching. Will, her soul has entered another form.
I wonder which form it could be. Karis now goes on his usual murderous rampage, and detectives quickly notice trends.
Strangled, mold on the throat.
Strangulation. Traces of foreign substance on the throat. That's mold.
The mummy.
But the investigation leaves a lot to be desired. From their probing questions...
Do you usually go walking on the campus in your nightgown?
...to the way they pursue their prey. But all our old favorites are still here.
Look at her. She is beautiful. Karis dared to love her. Are you less brave than he? Here in this cup is my gift of life to you. I'm going to make you immortal, and I too shall drink and be immortal.
But Karis is having none of this.
I'll take her back, Karis. Together we'll go to Arkham. The three of us, I swear
it. In the end, poor Amina is overtaken by the spirit of Ananka, and it's a job even Oil of Olay can't fix. So this time Karis, with his new friend, disappears into a swamp. But will water have any more effect on Karis than fire did? The final installment, The Mummy's Curse, released in 1944, throws a curve into the franchise. Whereas the last two films took place in the sleepy New England town of Mapleton, this one starts off, for no apparent reason, in Cajun country, with throngs of extras affecting heavy French accents.
You think it's childish business. Everybody knows the place is haunted.
So either Mapleton has a very large French population, or the swamp Karis went into is the largest on record. This film also starts off uncharacteristically with a big musical number, enthusiastically sung by actress Anne Cody.
Hey, you! With a naughty eye when you pass us by, we just have to cry. Hey, you!
This raises the question whether the franchise could have been saved by making musicals out of the subsequent installments.
Of you. Hey, you! Till we meet again at the Place Madeleine on the Rue de Lorraine. We two. And if you care for me and be my sweet cherry, yoo-hoo, I'd go for you.
Hey, you!
With a naughty eye when you pass us by, we just have to cry.
Hey, you!
You, when we see your smile in that sweet profile, we dream all the while of you.
Hey, you!
Till we meet again at the Place Madeleine on the Rue de Lorraine. We two, and if you care for me and be my sweet
leading, of course, to the inevitable concept album.
How I'd go for you!
But regardless of the locale, things get moving quickly. 25 movie years have passed and Karis' swamp is now being drained, leading to interesting discoveries.
Hey, looks like the imprint of a man's body.
And can Girlfriend be far behind? The cast is rounded out by the usual archaeologist, who appears to have a pith helmet glued to his head, and a suspicious Egyptian consultant. Predictably, the consultant has ulterior motives.
Caris, you shall rise again to find your Princess Ananka.
The beloved flashback returns, reusing footage that is now 12 years old.
Like the corners of my mind.
Things get off to a rocky start for the Egyptians when they find out their supposedly deserted new digs are protected by a very polite caretaker.
What does this mean? I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take these sacrilegious things away.
But Karis makes short work of him. Meanwhile, the incarnation of Ananka, who is never given a name in this episode, is found wandering in the swamp where she conveniently identifies herself to a lurking minion.
Caris.
Caris? What is this Caris?
Karis is sent to fetch her.
Now, you shall go to take her. Drink. Drink from the brew of the 9 tana leaves.
But all Karis manages to do is kill singer Anne Cody, thereby crushing all hope for future musicals. Ananka wanders off again and is dutifully collected by our archaeologist.
Let's take her back to camp and have Dr. Cooper take a look at her.
And poor Karis can't even get noticed. Safely ensconced at camp, she displays a surprising knowledge of ancient history.
This fabric was woven during the dynasty of King Amenhotep and worn by Caris, prince of the royal house.
But the Egyptians are wasting no time.
It is the will of Amun-Ra. It has been ordained that you must seek her out for yourself. Hasten then, while the moon is still high.
This movie features some nice atmospheric camera work, which comes in handy when the search for Ananka takes an interesting turn.
Get Ragab and some of the other workmen to go along. We'll cover every trail tonight.
Because, of course, it looks much cooler to search at night, with the archaeologist dutifully wearing his pith helmet to protect from the glare of the moon. But don't be disheartened, Mummy fans. The template hasn't been forgotten, just updated. Is she actually wearing just a plain cotton nightgown? This time around,
the curse of Amun-Ra upon you, Ragab.
The priest is strong, but love finds a way.
Master, I am but flesh and blood.
Enough!
Karis makes sure the unfaithful minion gets his comeuppance.
No, Caris. No. If you destroy me, the secret of the Tana leaves will die.
Getting buried in rubble for his pains. But Tana fluid as a dating tool only reduces Ananka to her former mummy self.
Now I understand why she knew so much about Caris and the ancient Egyptians.
So Karis and Ananka are sent back to the Scripps Museum, wherever that is, to await the evolving need in Hollywood to remake old movies. All in all, the classic Mummy movies are loads of fun. They are great examples of Hollywood's studio system, and I wouldn't trade my Universal Mummy Legacy Collection for anything. It's great to curl up with a warm brew of tana leaves, to enjoy again the menace of Imhotep and his various incarnations down through the years.